My story today, we were taking a train from Brussels up to Amsterdam. And when you purchase Eurail passes, you never know exactly what you're going to get because your seats change by train, okay? So there were some rides where we were just sitting regular economy, okay? And then there were other rides where we were sitting in first class. So this was one of those rides that we were sitting in. Just imagine this, you know, the Harry Potter cabin on the train where the two benches and you're facing each other. All right. So Casey and I get this entire cabin to ourselves. Well, the World Cup was going on at this time. And so there were a bunch of guys, guy trip, who had come down from Ireland. And if you know anything about the Irish culture, they love their beer, okay? And they literally had bought out the beer cart and they were loud and they were excited and they were having a good old time. So eventually they made their way up to our little cabin and opened the door and we started talking to them. And I will tell you guys, it was so fun. I just love meeting people from international countries. And so they were just, they just came in, they sat down, we were talking, they were sharing stories, and it was just one of those moments that you don't forget, right? So anyway, we all get to Amsterdam, and there had been a lot of rain during that time. So we get off the train, and when you get to the Amsterdam train depot, you basically have to walk across this parking lot, across a street, across a bridge, across another street to get to the first row of buildings and hotels and all of that, restaurants. So we had crossed the bridge and we were in the center of the road on the median waiting to cross the rest of the street. And it's around midnight, so it's dark, we can't see much. I see this bus driving down the street toward us. And so we thought, okay, let's wait for it and then we'll cross the street. The bus went through a huge puddle of water. And I'm standing here, Casey's standing behind me. The puddle of water went all over me and I am drenched, okay? And Casey, all of a sudden he goes, dude, I just got drenched. And I'm like, yeah, me too. So then we walk across the street and we go into the hotel where there's light and we can see each other. You guys, my clothes were dripping. My hair was dripping wet. And Casey, I look at him and he's got, I remember, a couple of dots of water on his shirt. And I mean, literally, I blocked it for him, right? And he just looks at me and he starts laughing. He's like, okay, maybe I'm not soaked as bad as you are. And I'm like, yeah. So because of the World Cup, all the hotels in Amsterdam were filled. There wasn't one room open. So we were taking a plane out of Europe back here to America the next day. And so I just said, all right, well, let's just go to the airport and sleep on the floor. We had an early morning flight, thank goodness. But I just remember sitting there on the floor of the airport and I was wet and I was cold and all that. But it's one of those moments that, you know what, we're already on an adventure and things like this happen. So let's just roll with it and enjoy. I will tell you though, another summer I was in Europe and it rained a lot. And I remember we would run into the bathrooms when our hair was wet. And my girlfriend and I would always put our hair under the hand warmers or hand dryers, you know. That was before I learned about all of the bacteria that floats around in those. They say, just so you guys know, they say that using those is worse than not even washing your hands. So I'm like, well, what's the point of washing your hands? So now I just wipe my hands on my clothes. Anyway, good memories.